our Hometown Heroes. Mark Allen's Hometown Heroes brought to you by Roxbury Truck Repair and by Phillips Iron and Metal. Joining us in studio today is Bernie Huot. Bernie, good morning.
Good morning, Mark.
Nice to have you in. And we take nominations for Hometown Heroes, and somebody had brought you up. And when I started reading some things about you, I thought, wow, not only a very active person, but a volunteer, somebody who's been doing a lot in their life. And thank you for all the things you've done. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Let's find out a little bit about Bernie. Tell us, Bernie, where are you born and raised?
I was born in Red Lake County, and I went to school in Red Lake County. After I got done with school, I worked in Grand Forks for about a year. Then I went in the Army when I was 18. I served about 20 months in Berlin. And I came home and I worked for Red Lake Falls Silo Company. And then we moved to St. Hilaire in 1963. Then I started working for St. Hilaire Supply.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about your family.
And my family, we have 6 children. We had 3 in Thief River, 1 in Solway, and 1 in Red Lake Falls, and 1 in West Fargo.
Okay, so most of the family's pretty close.
They're all close. That makes it nice. You don't have to do a lot of traveling.
That's right. All right. And by the way, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
In the military. And a lot of folks went to the military. Did you feel it was your calling? Did you get drafted or what?
I volunteered.
Okay.
I volunteered. Everybody was going in, and I don't know. I just decided I was going to go.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to wind up in Berlin, but I did.
What was the best and worst part of being in the military?
Oh, I don't know. It was interesting. Everything was interesting. Of course, I was in Berlin, and we were pretty well isolated, so I didn't get out and see a whole lot there. So
okay,
we were pretty much right there.
Yeah. All right. So after you came back, and you mentioned some of the places that you worked and raised your family, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Involved in when did you move to St. Hilaire, in the 60s?
63.
Okay, 63.
Right.
And of course, you've been very involved, very active in St. Hilaire, haven't you?
Right. Yes. Well, in 67, we built 1 sixplex apartments, and 68, we built another sixplex. And then we started laundromat in 78. And then I started getting involved with the city. That's when I got involved with the community club. I was chairman in 77, and I still am.
Uh-huh.
So it's quite a few years.
Yeah, very active. Well, and that's what communities need. Is active people that are going to be involved and want to do things. And what's the toughest part about that, Bernie? Is it getting people involved and keeping people involved?
That's the big part. We used to have a lot of activities in the 70s. We used to have a fun fest every year, which we had parades and so on, and all of a sudden we start losing people, and there's not enough people. And then in, I think it was, I forget what year it was, 83, I believe, we had the Cultures Fest. Ed Leeper started that, and he ran it for 2 years, I believe. And then I wound up getting it dropped on me, and I done it for 3 years, but that was big. I mean, it took 6 months to get all the music and everything together, and it just got to be too much for one person, you know. And when you don't have the help, you just can't do it.
I remember, and I think I've told this story before. I remember years ago you had a mud run in St. Hilaire. We came down for that, the radio station, and we had a challenge. It was between me and Olson, one of the sheriff's department.
Oh.
And we did the mud run. It's got to be back in the 90s. I want to say the early 90s or late 80s, early 90s, probably somewhere in there.
Was that the one that we just put tires out there and thought it would work?
No, it was. You had a big, long mud pit, and we ran right through it. And it was fun. It was fun. You also, of course, are on the fire department, right?
Right. I joined the fire department in 63, and I was on there for approximately 50 years.
And again, with a small town, it's important to have every single person that can help, right?
When I started in 63, we had a 1955 Dodge truck. That was all we had, with a 250-gallon tank. Now we got 2 tankers and 2 pumpers and 2 grass rigs. and maybe less fires.
Yes, but you are so much better prepared, right?
Right. Oh, yes. We used to have an Army gas mask for our air tanks.
How times have changed, right?
You got that right. I can remember crawling on the floor, putting out fires under the smoke.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you, it's now the number of firefighters kind of goes up and down, I suppose, each year.
We have right around 20.
Okay. All right. Your community club, again, you started getting back to being active again, and you guys have been pretty active, I think, for the past number of years again, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. We've been active all the time. Ever since I've been on there, we've been active. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Community club, you know how many members you roughly have? Or
Well, we have approximately in the 20 area, but meetings are different. You know how that goes. You got a hard time to get them to come to meetings. But if we need help, they're there.
That's a big part of it, isn't it?
That's the main thing. I've been in charge of so many things, but I've always had help when I needed them.
All right. City council. Okay.
Been on the council since total of about 25 years, I imagine. I was on in 77 for 11 years, and then it's been on and off, back and forth all the time.
Okay. As a council member, mayor, both, or what?
Both. I'm acting mayor. I've been acting mayor for the last 4 or 5 years now, I think.
Okay. All right. What's better, being on the council or being the mayor?
The council's a little better. You don't have to make some of them last calls, you know.
All right. Well, thank you again for your service. And it's not always easy because, you know, government is so slow to work.
Right.
And it takes time for everything, doesn't it?
That's right. Some things are tough.
Yeah.
But all in all, it's good.
It's all about, and what I get at a lot of the things you're doing, Bernie, is you're so active. It's all about helping people.
Oh, yes. Yep. I put many hours in and very little pay.
Yeah, if anything. One of the things, in 1983, you had a 100-year celebration?
Right. That was a centennial celebration, and that was a big one, and I chaired that. Mm-hmm. And there were many people involved in that one, but it was really great. When we had the parade on Sunday, we had the guard from the Air Force there, and they figured there must have been about 5,000 to 6,000 people.
Isn't that cool?
There.
Yeah,
it was
that's
great.
Neat. When you can bring a lot of the people back, and that's what a lot of it is. So you bring these celebrations, and people come back to their community.
Yeah, that's right. It's big. It's big. Community
club too. You've had a building, a community center, and whatnot. That's kind of been up and down, or how's that going now?
Community center, and in '85 they built a senior center, which only was pretty small. Mm-hmm. And we always wanted a bigger place. We used the old school, but that was not handicapped. We wanted to redo that, but it cost a couple $100,000, and we just never had the money. And in 2012, I took it by the horns, and we added on 43 by 43 onto the senior center, which is very nice. And we seat about 160 people in there, and we've got all kinds of wedding reception, birthday parties, whatever. It's really been great.
And, of course, different annual things that take place in St. Hilaire, and you're involved with a number of them, aren't you?
Pretty much every one. I'm on the lines. I've been a charter member on the lines and community club and on the council and fire department, so that's about all of them.
Very, very active. And we're going to talk a little more about the Lions here in just a moment. I want to let you know that today's show is brought to you in part by Roxbury Truck Repair, a truck shop, a truck and trailer maintenance and repair. It's Roxbury Truck Repair. And Phillips Iron and Metal, where they accept all ferrous and non-ferrous metals, including but not limited to stainless steel, copper, brass, aluminum, lead, insulated wire, nickel, high-temp alloys, precious metals, etc. Whether you bring the materials to us or we bring us to you, we provide quality service at competitive pricing. Phillips Iron and Metal. Our guest today, Bernie Huot, and a good one because he is so active. And this is what our show is about, being a hero, is somebody who really likes to help out and to be a volunteer. And it's not about the payment. It's not about getting paid. It's about volunteering your time to make things better for people and giving them opportunities. And it seems, Bernie, a lot of what you've done is about.
Oh, yes. I should probably mention, too, with the fish fries for St. Bernard's, that started in 1992, and I've been working it ever since.
The fish fries at St. Bernard's?
Right.
Which have grown huge. I mean, nowadays, gosh, I don't know how many people, is it 1,000 people or something you serve? I mean,
we've sold over 1,200 at one time.
Over 1,200, yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. It is. One of the things, St. Hilaire Lions, you guys are very active, very active group. You guys are doing a lot of things, a lot of time.
Right. We do a lots. I'm not involved in the lots what the Lions do. I belong to it, but I just got too many other things to get involved with everything that the Lions does. When we have benefits and stuff, I am in charge of them, but other things I don't get involved a lots with, but we are very active.
Yeah, very active group, do a lot of different things. In the late 70s, you said Vern Lee and Dan Elliott called you and talked to you into getting on, the Fair Board?
Right. And I accepted it. I don't know how I wound up with it. I was there, and then in 84 to 88, I was chairman. I was president of the Fair Board, which was a big jump, too. Mm-hmm. But it worked well. But there's a lot of changes out there since that.
Yeah, and it's all been for the better. I
Right.
mean, things keep getting, each year it seems to be an improvement over the last year, and that's what it's all about, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, it's been real great. It's been
Improving
good.
it. No doubt about it. All of these things that you're involved with, Bernie, is there one or two things that you cherish a little more than the others?
I don't know. It's kind of fun in all of them, I guess. I really can't say one or the other is better.
Yeah, because I mean, you think about it: city government, community, fire department, the Lions, the Fair Board. I mean, you're active in so many different things, and I don't know that any of these, they're not there for pay. It's not like you get a paying position, really. It's a lot of it is volunteer work. And if there is any pay, you have to go up and above that just to make it right. So you get involved. What are you doing right now? What are some of the things you're busy with right now?
Right now, well, I do a lot of snowblowing in town. That's one thing I do, too. But I have the laundromat and the car wash, and there's always some paperwork or things to do with community club and senior center. I got paperwork. I'm the treasurer for the senior center, and the
Another
gaming.
hat you wear. Now, Bernie, every time you leave the house when you're going to go somewhere, do you grab a different hat so that you know which one you're going to?
Well, not really. I used to carry a book in my pocket all the time, ever. Anything I'd done, it was in the book.
Uh-huh.
But about a year ago, I dropped the book and I started using a smartphone. And before that, years ago, we didn't have smartphones. If I didn't have that book, I wouldn't know where to go.
Yep. You had to have some kind of itinerary and know what notes to keep you in place. Yeah, now you're right. Technology has changed. And Bernie, that's kind of with everything, isn't it? Technology is changing things.
Definitely. It is. It's good in one way.
Yeah.
It's hard to do some of them changes, but it works.
At the same time, it's good to see the changes. You're right. All right. What's in the future for Bernie? What do you see yourself doing in the next coming years?
I don't know. I said I'm going to quit all these jobs. I said I was going to quit them when I was 80 or 75, and I'm going on 82, and I'm still doing it. So I don't know when I'm going to quit. I guess if I'm healthy, it's fine.
And isn't that a true statement? I mean, if you're healthy and you can keep doing this, all the better, and you just seem to keep going that way.
Right. But a lot of people say they don't want my job because if they're going to be on it forever, they don't want it.
That's right. It's always tough to find somebody to take that spot, isn't it?
Right. And then we got the gambling, too, and I'm CO for the community club, so I got to do all the depositing and stuff for the gambling, so I have a lot of things I can do.
Bernie, I really think you should get a different hat for each of these, so that way when you leave the house, you put the hat on and you know where you're going.
Well, I've got a lot of hats, but I don't switch hats every day.
All right. Bernie, it's been great to have you in here. It's nice to finally get to meet you right face-to-face in the studio like this. Anything you want to mention before I let you leave?
No, I don't think so. I think it's pretty much covered.
How about if there was some advice to a youngster that you want to hand over the reins to somebody to take over this? What kind of advice could you give them?
Oh, I'll give them all the advice. I'll give them anything they want. That's like when we let the culture go. I got all the books, all the information for everybody, but nobody would take it.
Yeah.
And everybody says, "How come you don't have it anymore?" Well, that's what happens.
Yeah. Well, if you give up your time, it's got to be for a reason. I'm guessing, Bernie, you just get a lot of enjoyment out of this.
Oh, yes. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bernie, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Bernie Huot, our guest today on our Hometown Heroes, brought to you today by Roxbury Truck Repair and by Phillips Iron and Metal.